Hello,
Got it.
everybody. My name is D.Lisa West, and I am a dream doula.
And I am Christina Spataro. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach.
And we were talking about being in a hurry. Have you ever
Yes.
been in a hurry? Have you ever been in such a hurry that you tripped and fell, or drove your car into a post, or dropped all your papers? Sometimes when I'm in a big hurry, I remind myself to go slow. Because sometimes when I'm going slower, it's more deliberate movement and I don't trip and drop and crash. It
Yes.
seems like time stretches.
And you also can appreciate what you're experiencing. I'm sure you've been hearing all about mindfulness. There's a ton of books on mindfulness, people offering courses and all this. We're going to give you the down and dirty. What is
Down and dirty.
mindfulness?
I
Down and
love it.
dirty mindfulness. Okay. I'm about to save you several $1,000s on courses and books. Mindfulness is being in the moment. Now, that might sound simple, but believe it or not, it's hard because how many of us are actually in the moment, allowing ourselves to experiencing everything? I always tell my clients, just think of your five senses. What are you seeing at the moment, hearing at the moment, smelling at the moment, tasting at the moment, touching? Because when you are truly present in your moment and you can embrace it, you actually will, for the first time, really experience the fullness of the time and the moment. Because when you're rushing through, you're not experiencing anything. You're just next thing. It's like when they say when you gobble down your food and you don't savor it, you're actually not tasting. So I want you to taste life.
Oh, I love that. We could just end the podcast now. That's the best. Because all the meditation teachers and all the sages of old, they tell you that the only time we have is now.
Yeah,
How do you plan for the future when the only time you have is now? And do you have
exactly.
to remember the past to go to the future when there's really, the concept is so mind blowing. If you think there's no past, there's no future, there's only
Mm-hmm.
now.
Exactly.
And the rest we're just making up in our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
The
Absolutely.
only people I really see being in the now are little toddlers that are under the age of 2.
Yes.
They're
So,
everything they're doing is right now. And if they're
yes.
upset, they cry. And when they're
Yeah.
done being upset, they laugh, maybe in the same minute.
Yes.
So, how do you do that as an adult?
As an adult, you remember or you try to tap into just what's going on around you. Because if you look at the example of toddlers, right? Do you ever see them like, the rain comes and they're stomping in the puddles and they're like, hello. Or they're running for joy, or they see somebody who they're so happy to see and they do that whole running jump thing, which is the best thing in the world, and being on the receiving end of it. So that's your thing. Like, I get it. And I'm not saying you can't plan for your future. I'm not saying you can't feel bad about stuff in your past. But what is happening in your moment right now? Like, focus on that. Focus on what your senses are experiencing and remind yourself because that's all toddlers are doing.
Mm,
They don't know enough to worry about the thing that happened yesterday. They don't know enough to worry, well, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough money for my 401k plan. They don't know any of that. They are pure in the moment, which is why they are probably the biggest little sages you can watch because they'll look at a flower and they'll be like, and they'll be looking at the petals and touching everything. They'll be looking up at the sky. Look around you. Savor your moment because you don't know what your next moment's going to be. You really don't.
the only people I know who really, as adults, do this um, are terminally ill. So, unlike the rest of us who think we're just going to live for maybe 20 more years or 50 more years, or
Mm-hmm.
we're just never going to die because we're
Mm-hmm.
teenagers,
Sure.
well, don't think about it. If someone has told you you're going to die, in a couple weeks or in a couple months. Suddenly, everything they taste is delicious, and
Right.
everything they see is beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
all of their interactions. There was a friend of mine who he got a terminal diagnosis, and his wife came home one day. She didn't see him anywhere in the house, and she was really like, "Where is he?" She's worried that
Mm-hmm.
suddenly he's already dead somewhere.
Yeah.
She goes up outside, and she hears him from the roof. He's on the roof looking at the neighborhood. He's like, you know what? Just like the song, everything's so beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
So, did
Humbling.
he enjoy his life up until that moment? He was a hard worker. I met him
Mm-hmm.
through the job that we did together. He was a
Wow.
very hard worker, and he was upset. He was mad a lot of the time. But when he was going to
Mm.
die, suddenly everything became beautiful and precious.
I like that.
One thing I help my coaching clients do is when they're feeling unsettled, there's a 16-second meditation you can do, and it's just 3
Mm.
breaths. And people teach this to first responders. It's a way
Mm.
to settle your autonomic nervous system. And I would imagine it's a way to become in those 16 seconds right here, right now,
Mm.
noticing your breathing. And the way it goes is you breathe a deep, deep breath in through your nose, deep as you can, hold it a bit, and then let it out through your mouth as if blowing through a straw. And you take that breath 3 times.
Um,
And it only takes 16 seconds if you hold your breath and blow out very slowly. You can do it if you're standing in line and you're annoyed with the people in front of you. You can do it if you're a first responder before you run
mhm.
into the burning building or whatever you need to do. And I would guess if you're scattered and worried and wondering what to do and everything's in a hurry, you could take 16 seconds to settle
Yes.
yourself
Yes.
and then go do what you need to do, because we all do have to do something.
Oh, yeah, of course. But we all have 16 seconds to spare
Right on.
because,
Oh,
yeah,
do you have a movie for us?
just as you were talking about when you was before you said tell people that do this are terminally ill, and I
Mm.
may have met this movie before, so it might be a repeat, but I'm going to say it again because it perfectly captures this. It was a movie with Michael Keaton called My Life, and it's about this guy Michael Keaton and Nicole Kidman. So she plays his wife. I want to say 1990s. I want to say that. But sometimes years go together. What it really is interesting. So he plays this typical workaholic guy, not thinking about it, and his wife's pregnant, and he gets a cancer diagnosis, terminal cancer. He may not live to see the birth of his own child. So he decides to create a video, almost catalog diary of all these things in life for this child that he may not see. And it is so, what happens as he's doing this is he, for the first time in his life, he's really living his life. At first, he starts out with the camera and doing things, but then he starts to see things he didn't see before. He starts to appreciate the family he didn't appreciate before as he's trying to create this thing for his son. And spoiler, 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 forgive me. The wife does give birth, and he actually is able to see, forgive me, I'm spoiling, but there's a line that perfectly says this, because the little baby is, just looking up from the crib, and he comments to the wife, he's like, he looks so content. Like, what is it? It looks like he's like so content and so happy, like he's just enjoying it. And he's like, where does he get that from? Where does he get that contentment? And the wife says, he gets it from you because you're just enjoying your life.
Oh,
Because he knows he has this terminal diagnosis. He doesn't know how much time he has. And he's literally enjoying every moment of his life.
yeah. The thing we can all remember is seems a little glum. We're all terminal.
Oh, goodness, yes.
None of us get out of this life except by dying.
Yes, it's true.
And so when are you going to start living?
Exactly. Because all of us, technically, you're right, have a terminal diagnosis. So for those of you, we're not trying to depress you. It's just reality, people. This is why I think people love vampire movies, because they like, okay, no, this is real. Sorry. It's going to happen. The only difference between us and somebody who's been given a diagnosis like that by, a doctor is that they're given a more of a time frame.
Right.
So
We have no time frame.
we have no time frame. So we have the illusion that we have all the time in the world.
Sure.
But the truth is, we don't know when our time is. We don't know what's going to happen when we cross that street or any of it. So we have the illusion that we have all the time in the world. When we were when we were honoring the people who died on 9/11, and I do watch the ceremony, and I, listen to the people who were talking, and, so many of the people that died that day were in the prime of their life. They had no clue that they were not going to go home to their loved ones that night.
Right. Right. Yeah. Those kind of situations make life seem really precious.
Exactly. So we're not trying to depress you. Okay. I get it. We're talking about terminal illness and tragedy, but the point is start living now, because if not now, then when?
If not now, when? And if not
Yeah.
now, if not who? Me? No, wait,
Yeah.
that's not right. But if
Yeah.
not who live now mindfully. And I'm
Yes.
tripping on this, the concept of the word mindfully is kind of like empty mind.
Yes.
It's not mindful, mind
Right.
empty. And with
Yes.
that, we'll let you ponder mindfulness as a mind that's empty of tripping on the future or remembering the past.
Yes.
Just be here
Yes.
now, Christina.
Be here now, D.Lisa. Be here now, and take those 16 seconds, because you can spare that.
Right on. Thanks for being my guest again. Until we
Thank you
talk
for
again.
having me again. Until we
All
talk
right.
again, thank you so much.
Yeah, bye.